All right, here we go. Brand new Flyers Daily for Friday, October 4th, 2024. Flyers Daily, as always, presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. Preseason in the books, in the rear view. Flyers finished the preseason 7 games played, a record of 4-3-0, as they get a 5-4 win over kind of the New Jersey Devils. Devils actually play today against the Buffalo Sabres in Prague. So a division team in action today. I'm going to be locked in. I can't wait. And playing against a conference team in the Buffalo Sabres. So it's an important hockey game. The race to the playoffs begins. Maybe that's a little dramatic. But anyway, the Flyers do wrap up the preseason, like I said, with that 5-4 win over the Devils. All Ulla Lixell has done this preseason is produce. He gets another goal for the Flyers. He opened the scoring last night. Then Ryan Schmelzer was able to tie the game up, putting one past Ivan Fedotov. And then J.R. Avon with an absolute burst of speed. This guy's fast. He was my walk-off intermission interview after the second period. And my first question to JR was, speed is a heck of a thing to have. Explain to me what it's like to have it. Because I've never had it. I've never been a fast guy in running or skating or anything like that. But, man, what a burst of speed. He goes in and puts it 5-hole to put the Flyers up 2-1. Then Kevin Labanc scored to get the game tied at 2 in the second period. Then Emil Andre with a nice unassisted goal, reading the screen of Noah Cates beautifully. And Emil Andre gets the goal. He's had a really good camp as well. Then he assisted on the third period goal by Anthony Richard, which put the Flyers up 4-2. Then Kevin Labanc, again, who's on a PTO with the Devils, probably going to get a contract, gets the game within 1, 4-3 Flyers. And then Noah Cates picked up a power play goal to make it 5-3. Anthony Richard and Emil Andre with the assist. Richard's had a really good camp also. Then Kevin Labanc again scores with just 10.4 seconds, I think it was, on the clock to make it 5-4. But ultimately the Flyers skate off with a 5-4 win. Like I said, their record in the preseason is 4-3 over the 7 games. It starts for real 1 week from today. All right. Preseason's over. They made it through it without any major injuries. I felt like there's been kind of intriguing elements to every single game of this preseason. There's intriguing storylines that'll be answered over the next couple of days as they have to set their roster. Lachenko was with the NHL group yesterday, but he wasn't in the game last night. Most of the regulars weren't in the game last night. There was a few, because you have to dress a few per NHL rules. But overall, it's been a really intriguing camp. What are the intriguing decisions that are still out there? Obviously, Jet Lachenko. And if Jet Lachenko is kept, whether it's for up to 9 games or whether he's sent back to Guelph or he's here for the entire season, there's a trickle-down effect to that as well. What's the trickle-down effect to it? Emil Andre, I think, has cemented himself as the first call-up from the defensive side. He had a really good camp. And I don't just mean the offensive elements. I thought he defended really well in camp. And to me, I talked about this on the Flyers radio broadcast. He's a fun player to watch because I feel like there's a lot of, not a lot of predictability in his game. He's a guy that can see the ice extremely well. Matter of fact, before he scored his goal and before he had an assist, I think on the power play goal from Anthony Richard, he sent Garnet Hathaway in on a breakaway. He was probably at the hash marks in his D zone, and just a seam pass right up the middle was a howitzer, perfect pass. Hathaway ended up getting stopped on the breakaway with a good glove save by the Devils goaltender, but really unbelievable vision to see that develop and the way he just beamed him a pass. It was beautiful. He's a fun player to watch. I'm really looking forward to watching his career in the NHL. It's a numbers game for him. You don't want to take him on a road trip and have him not play. So how do they handle that situation? If Jet Lachenko's on the team, who are the 12 forwards? Does one of our guests Noah Cates come out of the lineup along with Nick Delary? How this plays out, I don't know. There's a lot of questions here. So I don't know how this Lachenko, I don't know how to read the information or the The fact that Lachenko was with the NHL group yesterday and didn't play last night, I don't know how to read any of this. We'll find out in a couple of days, but we'll see where it goes, because the trickle-down effect of any decision you make is pretty pronounced. And that's the situation. Anthony Richard's an interesting one, too. He had another multi-point game. In past seasons, Brian Smith brought this up on the radio broadcast. In past seasons, he probably makes this team and gets a lot of opportunity. And a couple years ago, the Flyers were the land of opportunity. Matter of fact, look at Owen Tippett. He needed opportunity. He came here, got it, and parlayed it into a nice contract. And is going to be a big part of it here. So there's not as much opportunity here anymore because there's more pieces here. Now, do they still need more pieces? Yeah. Do they still need more high-end pieces? Absolutely. So they're by no realm of possibility of finished product. There's still a lot to be done and a lot of development to be had, including with our first guest. I had a chance to catch up with Flyers defensive prospect Oliver Bonk. I thought he had a really solid camp. Bonk's like an offensive lineman. When you don't hear his name mentioned a lot, that's a good thing. He did have a couple of assists in the game last night, but he's one of those guys that's going to be a defend-first defenseman, and that's going to be the hallmark of his game. When you don't hear his name, it's usually because he did his job. I thought he was good in the game last night. So here's my conversation with Flyers defensive prospect Oliver Bonk. Flyers Postgame preseason is wrapped up, and with us right now is Oliver Bonk. A couple of apples tonight. Feels good.
Yeah, it's nice. Not your job as a defenseman, but it's always nice to get a couple, so it's good.
How do you feel like your camp has gone in total? You're still here. It's the end of camp, 7 preseason. I know you didn't play all of them, but you played in a good amount of them. I'm sure you feel like you definitely learned a ton, too.
Yeah, did the best I could. It's up to them now, but yeah, I gave it my all and played a couple really good games, I thought, and a couple okay ones, so we'll see where it goes.
How much different do you feel this year from last year? Last year's like a whirlwind. You get drafted, development camp happens right away. Everything's like kind of chaotic. You get a chance after, even though you guys with the London Knights played really late in the year in the Memorial Cup, your off season was shorter, but how do you feel like it was different this year from last? That was a long-winded question.
Yeah, I think this year's just more figuring it out. Last year was just kind of getting drafted, getting your first look at how fast it is, and this year it's kind of figuring out the systems, figuring out the way Torts wants us to play. I know there's a couple changes that he wants me to make, and I'm working on it, so it's just kind of figuring the league out more.
The way he puts it is, I just want him to play faster, make decisions faster, close out guys faster, but there's a lot more that goes into it from a playing perspective for you. How do you kind of translate that message that he's giving you into what you do on the ice?
I think it's all about just earning your next shift. I think all the stuff he's saying is stuff from junior that you're playing 30 to 35 minutes a night. You kind of try to save your energy on some of that, but here you gotta play balls out every shift. So I think just working on that.
Do you feel like physically you were in a different place this year as well? Because you did put on some muscle since your draft year.
Yeah, like 200 pounds this year, so I definitely felt a lot better.
What'd you play at last year?
Last year was probably 185, so I have 15 over the summer, about 15. I felt better this year in the corners, like not getting pushed around as much, so it was a good improvement.
How much of that, adding that extra muscle and that weight and strength, is also mental in how you go into those corner battles and board battles?
Yeah, I'm still kind of getting used to it, that I'm about the same weight or probably heavier than a lot of the guys, so you just kind of get used to it and use your body even more than you already were.
Bonker, great game tonight. A good way to wrap up the preseason. We'll see what the decisions are. It's out of your hands, but you control what you can control. Thanks for doing this, and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to Oliver Bonk for taking the time to join us post-game. And we'll see if he goes back, right back to the OHL with the London Knights. I think he'll just be a monster this year in the OHL. Frankly, he's beyond the OHL, but he's not maybe quite to the NHL. He'd be perfect for the AHL, but the stupid rule doesn't allow that. But we're looking for the future. I think is really bright for Oliver Bonk. So thanks to him for taking the time. All right, let's catch up to our second conversation of the episode. It is Noah Cates, who had probably a pretty frustrating year last year. We know the season he had 2 years ago, where he played 82 games. He ended up with 13 goals, 25 assists, 38 points. But without Sean Couturier, he was tasked with being the shutdown guy and had a really good year. Matter of fact, he got some Selke votes in that season as well. And a lot of us didn't see that coming. There's more offense probably there. Last year, got off to a kind of sluggish start, then got hurt, then was kind of chasing it the rest of the season. Ended up with only 6 goals, 12 assists, 18 points in 59 games. So, big year for Noah Cates. And one thing you know about Noah Cates, he is going to be in shape. He is going to be as fit as they come. So here's my conversation with Flyers forward Noah Cates. We are joined on Flyers Daily by Flyers forward Noah Cates. Glad preseason's over?
Yeah, it's fun to get going and stuff, but now it's for real and can't wait to get on that road trip.
What is the point where you go, okay, it's good, I got to knock the rust off, I got to get my game in order, but enough's enough here. Let's get on with the regular season. When's that point for you?
Yeah, I mean probably right now. Playing 3-4 preseason games. It's good to get the routine. The nap and the off ice stuff before the game, but it's just a little different, and we're excited for in a week's time here getting going again.
So am I to assume by you saying that you don't take naps in the summertime?
Not really.
No, not at all?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, man, that's something you got to carry through the rest of your life. It's like the hockey player thing. In the wintertime, you open up the window for the nap, to get nice and cold in there, ice box it a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice. Get the routine going again, so it's an exciting time, but, we got a week to prepare, and then it's go time.
Do you kind of, in the summertime, also start to look forward to having the rigidity of the season, knowing your schedule? I'm going to be here, bus, game, practice, all that stuff, to kind of get that back in order, to kind of create some structure to everything?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely nice, having, like you said, the structure, the routine, just kind of the pregame, everything, the preparation that goes into it. So it's nice to, like I said, get the preseason behind you, get the routine going again. But like I said, it's for real in about a week, and we're super excited.
Casey, one of the things we know about you is the way you prepare physically, the way you train. Have you changed anything in your training? Because you were lauded 2 years ago and last year for the way you came into camp again this year. But have you kind of tweaked anything in that regard?
Yeah, I'm getting a little older, so maybe staying off the ice a little bit more. I know a lot of the older guys do that, but still just trying to prepare. And like you said, the camp's grueling, and you're going to skate a lot, so I kind of just plan in the summer, skating and getting ready for it. So maybe off the ice a little bit more, but I like you said, I like to prepare. I like to feel ready and feel good about my game, my legs, and my lungs and different things like that.
Do you just feel better generally, not as a hockey player, but as a human, when you're working out and being physical and being active?
For sure. It's all mental, but if you,
I don't think it's just mental. I think there's science behind it.
No, for sure. But if you've given a lot this in the summer and you're prepared, you feel better going into the season. Kind of the more you give, the more you get, kind of thing. So that's kind of what I like to put into it, and I give a lot to this team and sacrifice a lot for this team, and the summer's a big part of that.
You're going in with the confidence, going, I know I did the work, so I'm going to be in a great position. When did you start taking that part seriously? Because I remember talking to Jet Lichenko, and he said during the pandemic, he was 13, so he's probably playing Bantam. He said a lot of his teammates, they hung out and played Xbox during that. But he asked his dad to build a gym in the garage, and he got serious about training. When did you get serious about that?
I think after I left high school hockey and went to junior hockey, and you kind of see how deep the hockey world is. And the coach I had in junior was great at skating you and putting you through the ringer and pushing yourself mentally. So kind of leaving my little small town in high school and kind of going off into the deep end of junior hockey and seeing college hockey and pro hockey in my near future, I saw a lot and really said this is what I want to do, and took it really seriously after that. And
you knew that to succeed at that next level, there's a lot of guys that can play hockey well, but the thing that could separate you could be that preparation. How do you feel like the progress of getting your game to where you want it for the regular season, as you alluded to? How did that process go in this preseason? Are you where you thought you'd be now, and are you happy where you are?
Yeah, playing some of these preseason games, it's tough, but like you said, it's kind of getting the reps in and different looks, and like you said, it's kind of just the routine and feeling good mentally. So like where we're at, we got another week or so to prepare and lock some things in structurally. So we'll take this time, but kind of preseason's done, and like I said, it's kind of for real now.
All right, last thing for you. I remember you and I sitting down for exit day last year, and you, like a lot of your teammates, were pretty pissed off at the way things ended. Full stop in game 82. You guys weren't able to see it all the way through to a berth in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Did that kind of eat at you all summer and like a bit of a motivating factor and something you want to assure in this season doesn't happen again?
Yeah, for sure. I think a big part of it's just kind of taking the season in little chunks at a time and not letting games or weeks get by you. Kind of letting games or whatever slip away from you. So it's kind of just short-term focus is kind of the big thing that we saw at the end of the year. Kind of we maybe got away from it, whether it was who we were playing or different things with the schedule. So it's just taking it one game at a time. It's kind of cliche, but you can't really look at all 82 because then it's a lot. But if you take just one game at a time, 1 week at a time, you're kind of mentally stay in it, and that's kind of a big thing I've learned as I've turned pro here.
Bite-sized pieces. Casey, best of luck. Thanks for doing this. Great camp.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Noah Cates, will he be a winger or will he be a center? I think it's probably, well, it depends on Lachenko again, but I think it's more likely that he's going to play on the wing than then he's going to play in the middle. But if Lachenko goes back, he could be in the middle and Lawton on the wing. Or maybe Lawton's in the middle and Cates is on the wing. All these things we got to figure out. Got time. A week to the regular season. We'll be back Monday. Bill Meltzer will join us to wrap up training camp, start to preview some of the regular season, some of the roster decisions, and much more. So join us Monday for a brand new Flyers Daily.